there are types of people that you associate within your life that are good, pleasant, friendly, care about others, care about animals even. And Trump is not one of them. He's a disgusting person, and has always been and always will be. Elon Musk, I don't know what got into his head thinking, sometimes you get so rich at these big companies and you're on top. Oh, it goes to your head and you're the most credible person in the world and the brightest, and you're going to dictate what others will do. Bullying is the best way to think of it. If you're in school, the bully's going to force their way on the little guy. I don't know. I've always favored the little guy over the big guy. And I've always favored the consumer of a good over the producer.
So, yeah.
So that's me. That's Steve Wozniak.
Steve Wozniak. So continue on that thread, Steve.
But I will tell you another thing. I didn't vote against Trump. I didn't vote for him. I don't vote.
You don't vote?
I don't vote. I decided when I was 18 years old that things can happen, real bad things like the Vietnam War, and it doesn't matter what the people really feel. Democracy wasn't real, so I decided I would never play the political game, never vote. I would never run a company because it's political.
And are you worried then about the direction that the US is going at the moment?
No, I'm horrified. Not just merely worried. Yeah, it's, will people suddenly ever come to their senses and realize what's happened? It's unbelievable. I read a letter this morning that Lech Walesa wrote, and I have met him and honored him for what he stood for. And he wrote about how, horrible this is, that the U.S. had stood for the freedom, and he watched when the Soviet Union collapsed and Reagan was involved, and his letter was so incredibly on target. And I kind of cried. I mean, there are good people in the world, a lot more in Europe. The United States is in a sad shape because in the United States, you can have 50% of the people on one side and 50% on the other. And that's about what it is. More people voted against Trump than voted for him, by the way, for different candidates. And that means that if you have a difference of views, you negotiate and compromise in the middle. And that's not happening. We're going to the extreme right, and we're going absolutism, and it's not a two-way conversation. It's one way. We're powerful. We got the cards. I think that's really sad for Ukraine. I've been to Ukraine, and my name is a Ukrainian name.
It must be a sad moment for you personally.
Oh, it's very, very sad not to stand up for the little guy that got attacked by the big bully. But then again, what is the United States? And especially what is Trump? Yeah.
So, one more question on the US, just the Department of Government Efficiency as well, alongside the geopolitics. It's been interesting, and but no matter how you look at it, Elon Musk has prioritized slashing federal budgets and more government efficiency. And there are some tech founders that are looking to that as a model, as a blueprint, a kind of startup, fast-paced growth kind of blueprint. What do you make of that? It sounds like we're going down the wrong track.
Oh, I definitely think that we should look for inefficiencies in government, but pretty much have a huge department that analyzes bit by bit by bit. And this, just mass firings, not good for a business to run that way. It's really to find out what works and what doesn't, and make the changes. So it should be done, I guess, more surgically with a scalpel instead of a sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer, yeah. I think that's the analogy.
But I still think that let's wait till it's done. There might be some good that comes out of it that we all agree on.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is, unfortunately, I'm biased against him because I own a Tesla, and I've had Teslas, and I've spoken on national TV shows about how he lied to us about driving himself across the country by the end of 2016, and then by the end of 2017. And he got money from us, stole money from us to try to upgrade to the one that would do it when they wouldn't. And I've spoken that way. Well, guess what happened? My X account got blocked 2 or 3 months ago, and I follow every single step to prove that I'm really who I am, and I can't get it unblocked. I don't know if they're doing that deliberately, but I never really posted on X. I never ever violated any rule or anything.
Yeah.
That's just, but maybe it's because I was on the wrong side of Elon.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been quite vocal, and maybe he's taken that personally. I don't know, we don't know, but that seems to be the suggestion you're making there.
Yeah, I haven't even talked about how bad the Teslas are.
You own a Tesla? Which model do you have?
Well, unfortunately, the only reason I own a Tesla, I got in early. I wanted to be part of the electronic car revolution early on, going from mechanical to electric. And every step up where they changed things in the car, it got worse and worse and worse. And now it is just miserable for user interface. Coming from Apple, user interface, the way you deal with technology is the most important thing in the world to me. And Tesla is the worst in the world at that. Everything is moded. Where to look for the time of day on the screen. It'll change depending what mode you're in. And the modes hide things that aren't there, and your finger knows how to get them. And I can't use, and the buttons that are supposed to go through your 6 favorite channels don't work if it's satellite radio channels. It will work for 20 minutes until you stop the car, or after 20 minutes, it loses it and won't step that way. And the method to bring up your favorites on the screen that you can select, you have to hit this one button called favorites. 3 times it took me 13 tries, sometimes 12 tries, sometimes 8. It takes so many tries hitting one button that your jiggly car, and it just doesn't work. Tesla actually might have heard my complaints. I go down to the Tesla centers for 7 years, the Tesla service center. Here's this problem, look at it, here, I'll demonstrate it, I'll make it work. Somebody should pass the word up so Tesla engineers know what to do. And he said, Tesla doesn't talk to us at a Tesla service center. And I'm just sick of that company. The support is so ridiculous. So they did recently have an upgrade that fixed hitting that little button called favorites that brings up my 6 favorite channels so I can tap one of them. And then as soon as I tap it, they all disappear. Nothing makes sense in that car intuitively. A cop stopped my wife once and wanted her insurance. He'd never seen this yoke steering wheel with buttons up and down for left and right. I don't even know why they didn't put them left and right, but up and down. And he looked at all her problems, why she didn't signal a turn. And when you're already turning, you can't find the buttons for the turn signal. And then he asked for her insurance. She said, do you have 5 minutes? Well, it was kind of a new Tesla with the newer software. There's no button for the glove box. You have to go searching in menus until you stumble into finding it. It's horrible.